Hello, and welcome to another edition of Pirate Parents Live. My name is Carter Fenwick. I'm the Director of Parent and Family Programs here at ECU. Today, we're talking about how your student can get involved on campus right out the gate and why it is so important. So our expert on the topic today is Hank Bowen, Senior Associate Director of Student Engagement here at ECU. If you're tuning in live, you can put any questions you have into the chat. We have some colleagues who are monitoring that and can get you answers to your questions. If you're watching the recorded version of this, you can still put your questions into the chat. My office will get that notification and can get you answers there as well. So we're going to get started. Hank, can you talk about why you recommend students getting involved so early on campus, pretty much immediately as soon as they get here?
Yeah, I think that when you have a school like ECU that has so many students and you've got tens of thousands of folks, it's really important for students to very early on create communities for themselves. And so some of the ways that you can do that is to start to form these groups of people that have things in common with you. Certainly being in the residence hall, you have some folks built in, and that's a great way to meet some people that you can do things with, go to the dining hall with, check out campus events with. But then in your classes, student organizations, other involvement opportunities, that really gives them a chance to create these small groups that they can connect with.
Mm-hmm. Building, like you said, building that community, since they are, especially our first year students, are coming from their home, right, their community at home, into this new space where they need to right, build that for themselves.
And so this is everything that their home would have. And so all of your living and your eating and class, but also your free time, it's all built. This is a kind of your own little city here at ECU. And so it is that community. It's important to establish those home bases.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So can you share with our family members who are hoping that their students are getting involved, how their students can get connected here at ECU?
Yeah. The first thing I think I mentioned is talk to the people in your hall. If you're living in the residence hall, you have all those folks there that are going through the same experiences. Most of those are going to be first year students. They're away from home. They're trying to figure out, when am I going to go to dinner? Who's going to go with me in the dining hall? Make connections with those folks. Don't shut yourself in the room all the time. Go out and meet the people there. But then you see a lot of things that your RAs are going to encourage you to attend. Go out to those things. Right off the bat, our office is going to have a lot of activities going those first couple weeks, especially when students are moving in. So even as early as Wednesday night, when move-in happens, we're going to have activities going in the dining halls. So some crafting things that students can do. Thursday night as well in the dining halls. Friday night, you'll see Raid the Rec in our Student Recreation Center. Saturday, Pirate Palooza. Sunday, New Student Welcome. And the RAs are going to come around and say, hey, we're going to this thing, come with us. Go. And when some people invite you to things, this is the time to try some stuff. You've got an opportunity to decide, hey, I've never been whatever. I've never been, climbing the rock wall. Go to the rec center and try that out. I don't know what this event's going to have. Go and see. And so, just try some new stuff.
Mm-hmm. I love at the beginning of your explanation, you talked about everyone's going through this, especially in the residence halls. It's every student is pretty much in the same boat of living in a new place for the first time and being surrounded by brand new people, and everyone is nervous. And so it can be so hard for students to think that everyone else is feeling the same way that they are, but it creates this wonderful opportunity to just try something new, because the people who are also trying something new are nervous just like you. And so that should hopefully, help get students out of their rooms, just reminding themselves that.
I remember going to school here and having the same thing of being in that residence hall and I'm not sure, I don't know anybody, and there are going to be folks that you've either met at orientation, or there's folks in your high school here, but you may not see them. This is your chance to kind of discover new people, but definitely that's your start.
Mm-hmm. And you touched a little bit on this in the last question, but what are some of those first things that incoming students can do when they get here?
Yeah, so there will be a lot of activities. You'll see a lot of departments will have things. So if you kind of either your major, some classes, you'll see some of those. A lot of folks in the residence halls will be part of the Live and Learning communities, and they'll have activities. Definitely, we'll talk a lot about the Pirate Experience. You'll hear everybody talk about the Pirate Experience. If you were here for orientation, the app that they use for the schedule for orientation is that Pirate Experience app. You'll just go to that and switch over from orientation to the main campus hub, and that's going to show you all the events that are going on. And so check out that. You can look at the website, thepiratexperience.ecu.edu, and you can sort by event type. You can look at organization name, but just see what there is out there. And so, like I said, we'll have in the dining halls, things Wednesday and Thursday night when everybody's starting to move in. Raid the Rec hits the big opening weekend, those kickoff events. But then even into that first week, there are less structured activities then because everybody is just trying to figure out. I remember, my first year here, I knew how to get places based on my residence hall, but I didn't know how to get from one class to the next. And so that first week is really just this map class almost of how do I get around campus. And so you'll see things. I know we'll be working together on some first day of classes activities, and just walk out and see what's there. Just when you see something going on, join in.
Yeah, just if you see a table and people gather around that table, just walk up and just be like, hey, what's this?
Yeah. And I think that's another thing you see a lot of students think, well, I want to try this, but I don't want to commit to it. I'm not sure about it. We have 400 student organizations here. You don't have to join something forever. You can try some things out, but try it. And if you decide you don't like it, try something different.
Mm-hmm. And so since we do have 400 student organizations on campus, it can be maybe a little intimidating for, like you said, students to try something new, but even just logistically figuring out, how do I search for those student organizations? How do I find them? How do I join one? So can you walk us through that process, just the logistical side?
Yeah, so the Pirate Experience has all those listed, and that's a great way to start, kind of looking for what I may be familiar with. And what I encourage a lot of students to do is, you had something you were involved with before, whether it be at your school, in your community, a church-based group, any kind of thing that you know about. We usually have an equivalent of it here. So if you had that high school club that you were really involved in, we have the version of it as well. If you have your major identified, there's at least one club for every major here as well. So start with that. Look at the Pirate Experience. But then the second week of classes, we don't do it the first week because, again, you're just...
It's overwhelming.
Know where I'm doing. So the second week of classes, we have what we call Get a Clue on that Wednesday, the 28th of August. And that's just a big involvement fair. Students will be familiar with that kind of concept. We did the involvement fairs during orientation. But this will be out on the campus mall where the cupola is at. And you'll see several hundred tables of just student organizations, volunteer opportunities, local businesses, departments that have resources for folks. And if you really are looking for, okay, I've seen it on paper, I saw it on the website, I've identified some things that I may have some interest in, but I want to talk to somebody, or I want to grab some merchandise from those folks and see kind of what they like. Go out and Get a Clue, and you'll meet those people. And so you'll see more about what they are, what they're about, who those folks are. You kind of talk to them. Can I make a connection with this group? Do I get along with everybody?
Yeah. Is the vibe there?
Yeah. And so you kind of get that feeling that you can't see online, and that's your best way to do that. So if you're looking for one of those general organizations, or you're just not sure at all what you're looking for, Get a Clue is the best place to do that. In the summer when you're here for orientation, you met some of those groups, but that's more about seeing, okay, there are some organizations here, but I don't quite know what. It's just a sampling almost. And so Get a Clue, most of them are out there. And so they'll be out there. Like I said, it's about 200 tables, and just hundreds of organizations and departments, local business be out there giving out free things. And so it's just a really great way, not only to find student organizations to get involved with, but how do I become part of the bigger Greenville community? How do I make a home for here that's on campus, but also the support services I need for just day-to-day life? We talk about, I need to figure out the Academic Success Center. I need to figure out the bus system. But really, for a lot of folks, especially if you're coming from out of town, I need to figure out, where do I get my hair cut at? And I need to get my car repaired, local restaurants. And so that's a good way to figure out, beyond just the walls of the campus, how do I live here away from home?
Yeah, and it's such a great, I love as a staff member just walking through Get a Clue. Well, one, it just, reminds you of being a student, and you're like, oh, this is amazing. But also it is also for students who are nervous. It's just a great time to just walk and see and look and maybe talk to one or two tables. But the student organizations who are out there are so excited to meet with other students, and they want you to come up and talk with them. And they know, it's okay if you're not, if the rock climbing club is not for you, that's okay. But just saying hi and hearing what it's about is great, and it's important too, which is awesome. So that's all of basically the big picture student organizations. We get a lot of questions sometimes specifically about fraternities and sororities, since they are a little bit more, they're just a different type of student organization. So can you talk about how students can go about joining those?
Yeah, so we have 4 councils for fraternities and sororities, and those are all based on historical membership. Anybody can join any of those groups, regardless of kind of what they were based on originally. But there are fraternities and sororities. All of those chapters will be out at our Greek Fest. That's the first day of classes, just to get people, familiar with that concept, because those have additional earlier signups. And so on the first day of classes, just outside the Student Center, we'll have Greek Fest, and all of those chapters will be out there so that you can meet them, find out a little bit more about what is the fraternity sorority process like, what does it look like to be a member. And we always tell folks, if you're not completely sure that you want to join, come out and find out. Come out and see them. If you're not completely sure about joining a sorority, sign up for Panhellenic Recruitment anyway, because at worst you spend a week finding out more about yourself. You have met a lot of people. You have basically done several job interviews. You can really look at it, tell them about yourself and figuring out, okay, who am I really? And what is it that I'm looking for from this experience? And those chapters all have philanthropies that they work with. And so they have service opportunities, and they're very passionate about those. They work with local community organizations to do their events and things. And so if you aren't kind of sure what type of group you're looking at for fraternity sorority, come out to Greek Fest. You'll see the difference between, we've got our Interfraternity Council, our Multicultural Greek Council, National Panhellenic Council, and then Panhellenic Association. So Greek Fest is a great way just to get into that. Then you can still sign up. Panhellenic recruitment starts that first week of classes. Interfraternity Council recruitment will start just after Labor Day. Also on September 8th, you'll have Meet the Greeks that Sunday, Meet the Greeks of the National Panhellenic Council, and then that same week, you'll have our Cultural Greek Invitational for the Multicultural Greek Council. So you get a chance early on. First semester students really can look and decide, okay, if I want to join an MPHC or an MGC group, you're not going to join that the first semester, but you can kind of sign up and meet them and find out about that process. So a little bit of something for everybody. Every chapter is different. And so I would say at least come out, meet everybody at Meet the Greeks or at Greek Fest on the first day of classes, and then go from there.
Yes. And I love that we've talked a lot about specifically, some student organizations, but also student organizations as a whole, but also those kickoff weekend, kickoff school year events. And a lot of these, we keep saying, are first year student focused, but they are not first year student exclusive.
No.
Yep, it is. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so you'll see, especially for those opening weekend things, you'll see several thousand students at those. And the thing I love about ECU is how traditions-based things are. And people are used to those traditions. They love those events. And so for a first-year student who hasn't figured out anything else to do, certainly you're going to come out to Rather 8. You're going to come out to Pirate-Palooza.
I sure hope so.
Yeah, we hope you see them there. But for returning students, they know how much fun it is. They know the things to expect. And so they're going to come out. There's going to be free food. They're going to take advantage of that. I know Pirate-Palooza will have Kona Ice out there for free, and giveaways, and it really is just these fun atmospheres, but it is for anybody. And so you'll see certainly for any involvement opportunities. Even when you look at student organizations, a lot of people are going to find some things pretty early that they are interested in being involved in, but then they may change. They may decide, okay, I did this sport, for example, I did that my first year, and I'm ready to do something different. So I'm looking for something new to spend my time with. I'm not going to keep on with whatever this is. And so you see a lot of folks that are sophomores, juniors still getting into that. People that are changing majors, they're adding a minor. They decided I'm going to go to grad school, so I need to find something to help me with that process. And so it's never too late to join something. Certainly, even when you talk about fraternities and sororities, we know a lot of people join as a first-year student. A lot of people still join as a sophomore, and some still join as a junior. I also think it's important to note that we have 400 organizations. We don't have a cap on that. And so if you have a group of students that comes together and says, this is great, but we really love this hobby, can we start a club for that? Absolutely. You need 5 people. We'll help you find, if you got, just you and an idea, we'll help you find 4 more people. But you can always start something new if there's something if it's not already here. So it's never too late to try something.
Yep. I love it. Okay. So we've talked a lot about, just how things operate here at ECU and all of our organizations. But what is some advice, as we kind of wrap this up, that you have for students that maybe our parents and families can share with their students?
Yeah. definitely get involved in something. I know we've said that, but I just hit that home. I know a lot of students, particularly coming in new to college, have that mindset. We see a lot of folks coming in from high school that joined a lot of organizations to try to get a good reference, the resume. They want to get scholarships. You're here. It's more important to be able to show how much you did with a couple of organizations to be able to say, look at this list of things I have my name on. So find the things that you're really passionate about. Don't come in and say, I'm going to join 15 organizations if you're not doing anything with those organizations, because when you're looking for your first job, when you're looking for graduate school, when you're looking for scholarships, they want to be able to see that you really had deep involvement. And we tell people all the time, you are trying to get out of college and get a job. We know that market is tough sometimes. If you're coming out of college, everybody gets out of here with a degree, but our organization leaders can come out and say, I've managed a budget, I recruited members, I managed projects, we communicated. We have all these skills where you learn the basics in class, but how do you apply those? And these involvement opportunities give students a chance to say, I did this, I applied this, look at what we did with that. So find a few things that you want to be involved in, certainly something for your major. All of your majors, our faculty are amazing, and they have real world connections. And a lot of that happens through the student organization. I always like to say that ECU does a really good job of putting information out there, but how do we get to students? How do we get students that want that? And so those involvement opportunities really are a good way to connect with industry professionals, employers. And so join something for your major. If you're interested in a graduate program, particularly one that's a competitive program, we have a club for most of those. We have a pre-med and pre-dental and pre-law. Get involved in one of those. Those clubs are going to be really good for helping you find the best study techniques, the best test-taking strategies. They're going to connect you with folks that are really good for references, service projects that you're going to need for those applications. But then join something for fun. So find something that you're really passionate about, whether that's a community organization, something that you have always done. If it's a hobby, a sport, whatever it is, do something for you to make this a fun time. College is great, but it does have a lot of stress. So do something that you enjoy, but all the time there are events going on. So, we've talked about opening weekend. Our office, we have things planned all the way through December. So every week there's going to be bingo, and there's going to be craft nights. There's going to be, just a dance. There's all these things. Go out and enjoy that, and encourage your students definitely to check out the Pirate Experience site, look at what's happening, and go out and just explore what campus has to offer.
I love it. I'm just going to add or reiterate the quality over quantity within those student organizations. Having that depth of, I've been a member for 3 years and I served on leadership looks fantastic on a resume, but like you said, it builds those further relationships. It gets you that experience. So quality over quantity. And again, it's never too late. So if you're, the parent of a transfer student who may be a transferring sophomore or junior, or even, the parent or family member of a sophomore returning to campus and they couldn't really get involved their freshman year, it is never too late. I know me personally, I didn't fully get involved in the student organizations I was involved in until my sophomore year. And so it is, it's never too late. So come on out and join us. Anything else you want to add?
No, we just are excited to have everybody on campus. We know it's a stressful time, but it's a fun time. So take advantage of it.
Yes. Awesome. So thank you for joining us. Thank you, Hank, for being here and letting me question you about all of this. But encourage your students to visit thepirateexperience.ecu.edu. That's the website. But again, there's an app that if you are an incoming student, you would have used this app at orientation. And so you have that already. Download the app and go to the website. And this is where you'll find the events we've talked about, as well as all of those student organizations and all of that information. So that is important. So remember that, thepirateexperience.ecu.edu. And then we can't wait to see your students here in the fall.